Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me? Looks like my lighting can be better. Let me try. Okay. For some reason, this is. How was your day? How are you doing? How has October been? It's salary week for many of us. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Oh, oh. My light has gone bad. Well, not my lights. Hi everyone. I wish there's a way I could have this working. Let's see if it could stay like this and work. Okay. I think it does. Let me know if you can hear me. LinkedIn, are we live? Instagram, let's see. I need to go live on Instagram. Mm, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think we're live on Instagram now. It is C Sweet Speak. Hey, I'm excited. This is a highlight of my week. It is C-Suite Speak with the Happy Employee Coach. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, are you even ready for what's coming? Are you even ready? Are you even ready? So tell me, how's your week been? It's salary week. Oh, salary week, salary week. Have you budgeted? Have you budgeted? Let me just check that we're live on LinkedIn. Have you budgeted? Have you sent money? Have you sent money to where it should go? Have you sent money to where it should go? Are you intentional? You know what we say now? Name your pay before you swipe away, or you waste your pay. Or, like I really want to say it is, or you waste your life because you spend a good portion of your life working, right? So, hey, if you don't name your pay before you swipe away, you're likely to waste it. And many of us have experienced this. So, we don't want to do that cycle again where we'll just, spend without a name. I'm excited about today's session. You guys know I'm always excited about, all the C-suite speak because a lot goes on, right? Yes, so I'm just trying to share the link to join with our guest tonight, and I am really ready for us. Let me know. LinkedIn, are we there? Last week we had people from different parts of the country. I think, and even outside the country join us. Actually, I think we did have people from the country and outside the country join us. So tell me, where are you joining us from? And then we'll get started. Your week is going on well. Awesome, Martha. Awesome, awesome. All right. Let us also, so let's repost. If you're, whether you're on LinkedIn or you're on Instagram, do well to repost. Let's get this journey started. Let's get more people learning. If you were here last week, you know how fire it was, right? You know that already. It was fire last week. So I'm trying to get our guest to come in. I just want to be sure that she is sorry. Oh, this is interrupting our lights. Okay, Avi, but I think it's better where it is. I'm trying to see where is our guest. Okay, she's not here yet. So yes, Martha in Lagos, awesome, awesome, awesome. Who else? Where are you joining from? Let's know. Let's know where you are. I'm just trying to be sure that we are live everywhere we need to be live. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Please repost. You know how we do repost. Let's get more people joining this conversation. Um, have you budgeted? It is salary week. Have you budgeted? Have you started spending according to plan? Not off plan, no. We don't do off plan here. Have you started spending according to plan? Have you started spending according to plan? Have you started spending according to plan? How is that going? Are you being faithful with that? Okay, guys. Okay, Martha, thank you. Who else is there? Let me check Instagram. Let's know, where are you watching from? You know, where are you watching from? Have you planned the salary for this month already? Have you planned salary for this month? What are the challenges? I think that one of the things that happens is, if you don't have a budget before salary comes, the tendency is to spend anyhow. It happens to the best of us. But if you get intentional with making sure that you sit down and you plan the salary before it comes in, it makes it easier and smoother. It helps you all right to just flow easier. Okay, so we have Ella Jess in Lagos. Thank you for joining. So yeah, he has already named every sat naira. You know how we do here. We don't let money carry us, they go where we don't know. We don't let money carry us, they go where we don't know. We just, we tell money, we are masters of money in this community. Money doesn't master us. We're very intentional, right, about how we use money, so that money can then grow for us. We take that very intentionally. So please do well to repost. One of the highlights of my week is really just being able to get positive feedback, on the work I'm doing on different streams, right? I got some good feedback this week. Was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? Was it on Sunday? I can't remember now. I think it was. I can't. Was it yesterday on Sunday, about one of my books, Find It Bible Games? And someone saying to me, "Oh, thank you very much for doing this. Thank you." That meant a lot, and I'm sharing that here so you know that you also have something to offer to the world. The question is, are you ready to go? You have great stuff that the world needs. The question is, are you ready to go? Are you ready to put in the work required? I released a book recently, and I was marketing it to someone, and the person was like, and I was like, see, it was easier for me to not write the book than to write the book. So now that I've written the book, I might as well tell the world about it. Like, the easier route, the easier path would have been, don't write the book, because it was hard writing that book. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of late nights, early morning, sitting down. And the most interesting part of that exercise was giving myself a timeline to deliver. We first had a timeline for August for our anniversary. It didn't work. Then I gave myself a timeline for my birthday, October 20th. And I'm grateful that we're able to meet that timeline. But what that meant was that August, September, October, for 3 months, I started writing July 16th. So just check that out. We finished like October 7th or 8th. So 3 months to write it, an over 200-page book with all my current schedule. It was crazy. But I look back and I'm grateful for it. So, what are you willing to give and sacrifice, right, to make that impact that needs to be made? Okay. So, we have our guest here.
I'm joining you.
Amen. Oh my. I know great people. See, you guys are not even hyping me enough. You people, happy employee community, you're not hyping me enough for all. I know great people. See how she got ready to give you people. Hey,
Goodness.
so let's see the applauses go in the comments. Thank you so much, sis. I don't take this for granted one bit.
Hi,
Thank you
good
so
evening.
much
Good evening, Eka. Good
for
evening, everybody.
for
Thank
for
you for
giving your
inviting
time.
me.
No, it's me that is thanking you for giving your time to come on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm
Thank
very
you.
grateful.
Thank you. And congrats on your book, How My Marriage Makes Me Money. Woo! I'm waiting for my autograph
Your author, no problem. It's
and
coming
I'm
tomorrow.
waiting. Okay, great.
It's coming tomorrow. You get it tomorrow. I promise you. I promise you.
Fantastic.
So
Can't
thank you
wait.
very
Can't wait.
much.
All right.
Thank you for joining. So I will give a quick, like, why we're here, right?
Okay.
And then we'll just get into it. So the way it works is, or let me start a background which I usually share with our guests is,
Okay.
sometime in 2021 or thereabout, I started going live every once. Well, I was trying to do it regularly on Sundays on Instagram to just
Mm.
teach people the things I had learned about being happy at work. Over time, life happened. I kind of slowed that down. But early this year, I came across Diary of a CEO podcast, and I just found the stories interesting, what he was sharing. And I thought,
Okay.
we don't have anything like that here, right?
Mm.
Where we just take founders' stories and just share their stories. And I'm like, okay, my message is to employees. Can I not find employees who have succeeded in their careers, who have grown significantly, right? And say, come and share your story with us, right? So it's not even a scripted interview kind of thing. It's just people see where you are at and they're like, hey, I want to be like that. Hey, hey, hey. And they don't know the growth behind, the groanings behind, the grit you had to resurrect from inside to get to where you are. And I feel like when we share stories, people can find themselves in different parts of your journey and say, okay, that part sounds like where I am. Okay, if she was that way, if she was like, okay, if he was like this, okay, there's hope for me, so to say.
Okay.
I can actually walk this path, and I can actually, there's hope. That's really what we do with this. So it's really what the way we work says, you introduce yourself from
Okay.
whatever you want to share with us, the various hats you wear, anyone you feel comfortable with, and then from there we just walk through that journey. So it's you looking back and saying, what would you say to Aramide of 10 years ago or 15
Mm.
years ago, in terms of so that someone who's at the various parts of this journey can find themselves, and say, okay, there's a story here that looks like me, that things I can learn, and so that's essentially what this is about. It's really just
Okay.
inspiring people, right? Are you just telling us from your authentic self how you've gotten to where you are? So, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, drum roll, please. We have with us today Mrs. Aramide Mokedoko.
Oh,
She is
nice.
General Counsel and Company Secretary at CAP PLC. So, welcome. Let's meet you. Introduce yourself to us, and then we'll go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Neka, once again. Like everyone just heard, my name is Andy Wokediko. I'm currently the Company Secretary, General Counsel of CAP PLC. And currently, I know, interestingly enough, I say I support, but I'm currently also leading the head of the marketing team as well. And somebody will wonder, oh, what's the company secretary? What has law got to do with marketing? But I guess I'll tell my story in another way. But maybe just by way of background, right from law school, and I joined the law firm of Bawa and Igodalo. That also comes with a very interesting story. I don't know if I should say the story now or I should say the story later after introductions. So maybe I should. What's how should I say it now or should I say it
You
after
can say it
introduction?
now, 100%. You can say it now.
Okay, and I always say that I or maybe just to backtrack, I fell into law by chance. I was supposed to be a science student. My parents wanted me to be a science student, and at some point when I didn't make my first jam, I told my mom, "I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not living your dreams." And my mom said, "My God, you've broken my heart. We fought for a while, but what do you want to do?" And literally, and I don't know how law dropped on my lap. I always say today it's by the leading of the spirit, but just even how things have been in relation to even just following the legal path. And I say this because when I was in law school, university law, I wasn't the most serious student. In university, I finished with a 2-2, essentially because I wasn't the most serious student and I was playing around with the crowd where we'll just miss classes for the purpose of missing classes. And it was until I got to my year 3, I mixed with, I got friendly with some very brilliant people, and that made me just get my act together. And whilst I finished with a very high 2-2, but then I knew that there was a potential to finish with a 2-1, but because of my crowd, and that was what made me finish with a 2-2 and not being serious. So, lesson one, mind the crowd you're with. Lesson two, um I was in law school, and then it was our internship. We're doing externships going into law firms, and then my friend mentioned, well, I'm going to Bauer and Igudalo. I want to do my externship there. I said, well, what's Bauer and Igudalo? My friend convinced me, and then let's go to Bauer and Igudalo. And then we went there with our letters. By the time we got there, the person, the lady I met, who is now my mentor and friend today, Stella Juru, said, oh, please, we've already taken 12 people from law school. And no, there are too many people here. Then my friend goes, "Oh, I have a letter from this." I said, "Okay, you have a letter from this partner." Enter. You that you just finished with, I said, "Tutu." She said, "No, I'm sorry, we can't take you." And then I went back to the reception. Now wait for your rejection list. I went back and I sat down. I thought, how will I go back to law school? How will I tell them, start the process of switching? I went back to the lady and I said, "I'm sorry, ma'am. Please just give me a chance. I know I finished with the tutu, but please give me a chance." He said, "No, no, 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 no. How can we do that? Blah, 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 blah. There's no space." I said, "I'll bring my chair." And she just started laughing. And next thing she just said, "Do you know what? Go and join the rest." And that was how I got to do my externship in BNI. And lesson number two there is always take chances. The worst you can get is a no. That's the worst. But the best you can get is a yes. So take that chance, get a no or whatever. Now, my BNI story. And why is this very important? Because if I didn't do my externship in BNI would have never gotten into BNI. And I say that it's absolutely and the aha moment for me in BNI was we had done about 3 weeks of externship, and then the senior partner then, Mr. Godalo, he wasn't around, and I think after 3 weeks he came back, and we always used to have office meetings on Fridays. So everybody all looking serious. Partner, one of the partners, Mr. Godalo, the strict one, is around. And then he asked all the law school interns to get up, tell us your name, tell us where you're from, and tell us your grade. So everybody was getting up. This one, tutu, this one, third class, this one. The look on the partner's face. I think we only had one first class and one 2-1. And they look on, where did we get these people from? And they look, where did you to? Then and then I made up my mind that no one would ever make me feel this way again. And I was in law
Hmm.
school, and then I made up my mind that I was going to work hard, I was going to be serious, and I was going to earn minimum of a 2-1 so that I could come back to work in BNI. And that was essentially what happened. I worked hard, I got my 2-1, I got my 2-1. The first email I sent was the partner in BNI. I made my 2-1 in law school. I'm coming back to BNI, and I spent 13 years. I spent 13 years in BNI, and I consider it one of the that was essentially what defined me as a person, defined me as a career person. And I'll talk about it as we go along. But yes, 13 years in BNI, and then I knew it was time to move in house. And then the interesting thing about BNI was, there are pockets in different people's careers where you're angry, you want to leave. But I found out that at every point in time when I was angry and I wanted to leave from reacting, opportunities didn't come. And the opportunity came when I was settled, I was happy, I'd accepted my environment and I was working towards it. And that was when the next opportunity, the best opportunity for me then to came, and I joined CFAO. CFAO is a French multinational in different industries, and I was there for another 3 years until I joined CAP as well. So that's my story in in a few
Wow.
minutes.
Hmm. You see,
Mhm.
there's a lot you've said. One of the things you said is the impact of crowd and friends, right? In one instance, there were friends who we just missed class, and then there's another instance where someone says, "Come along, let's go." So influence of friends is so
Very
important, and
much.
I find that many of us as adults sometimes we downplay this thing. Oh,
Yes.
we downplay the power of influence. In fact, take it to the next level. We don't understand how much influence shapes our futures, such that we can look at the future where we want to get to and then step back and say, okay, what kind of things do I need around me to help me get there?
Yes.
Because just imagine that friend didn't invite you on that journey and say, let's go.
Let's go.
You did not then persist and say, I will bring my own chair. See, and then so because of that, you then said, this law school, 2-1 is 2-1. There is nothing anybody will tell me. And see how it changed your career and shaped it.
Very. I mean, that singular moment changed my career in more ways than one. And I always say this: it even cuts across. It's not just school. So at every stage in your life, no matter how old you are, your friends are very key. If you don't have friends, and you must have, you can have different type of friends for different things. I have friends that
Mm.
motivate me spiritually. I have friends that when I'm talking to them, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not there scratching the surface. I need to read my Bible more. I need to pray more. I have friends that check on me in that area. I have friends that when I'm talking to them, I'm like, I need to do more. I need to push myself more in my career. I need to be out. So you necessarily don't have to have one friend that has everything. You can have different pockets of friends, but the most important thing is that your friends must challenge you. They must wish,
Ah.
and it's not a thing of envy or jealousy. It's a thing of being inspired by your friends.
Hmm. Okay, I'm going to come back to something else, but let's talk about this issue, this thing you brought up now, because I don't think so far. I mean, I've had guests that talked about influence and all, but you were going a bit more on this question of friendships, and I want us to stay there just a little bit, right? Talking about friendships. Can you share with us, right, how to find those friends, how to be that friend, right? What's your experience in terms of finding those friends and being that kind of friend? Let's talk about that a little bit in your own experience. What should
Okay.
someone look out for? Let's talk about that.
Okay. So I'll always say because I don't make friends easily. So to answer your question, how to find friends, honestly, I don't know how to find my own personal experience. I don't know how to find friends. But I find that in different places where you are, without much effort, there'll be something in somebody that connects with you. And you're not meant to be friends with everybody, and that's fine. And as you walk through the journey of life, you will lose some certain friendships. It will hurt, but you'll find that you're in a different space. And not that there's any fight or there's any envy. You're just growing, and with growth, helps you meet people. And it's not about, oh, I'm going here or I'm being, because another thing, as you get older, even when you're younger, you can't force friendships. You either
Mm,
connect with someone or you don't. So I've had friends, all my friends, most of my close friends since I found them in BNI, they're still my close friends till today. But I also have new friends I've met in the workplace that for one reason or another, we connect, we found common interests, and we remain friends.
mm,
So as to finding friends, I don't know how to. But as to, I think it's just a natural thing that something in me clicks with something in you, and we found some mutual areas of discussion, some mutual areas of to influence or inspire each other, and because of that, we're friends. It could be
mm,
family, it could be career, it could be businesses, it could be anything. But I
mm.
won't find that the best friendships they're never forced.
Very important. In talking about that, I've experienced this, right? Where you meet someone in the office, you admire them, right? You almost borderline wishing, it's almost like a desire to, I want to belong, I want to be, can you talk about that? Because in so what I mean, there are people, I've been there, to be very honest, where I've seen some like, if only I wish, or maybe, I wish I schooled abroad though. This person, see how she's up with and then you just keep doing your work and give it a few years. Some person is saying, oh wow, I admire you. Oh, you're wondering me. Really? You know? Yeah, this is person, I mean, it happened to me, and I'm like, hey, you admire me. Hey. Me that was looking at you and feeling like you are all that, and so talk to us about this question of not forcing friendships, especially in the workplace, right? And then how to draw the line. Let's even talk about that. How you don't force friendships, how you can draw the line as well, because sometimes these things can be shifty when we talk about friendships in the
Very true.
workplace. So
Very
let's
true.
let's stay there a bit. Yes.
Very true. I think it comes from a place of self confidence and just knowing who you are. And I say that because even I myself struggle in this area. So people shouldn't feel that, oh, I'm sure, I don't know who's watching, but if anybody that knows me hears me say this, they'll be like, Aramide, really? Aramide can say this. And I say this because, coming from secondary school, I went to an all girls secondary school where perception was everything. I wasn't one of the cool kids. And I ended up looking at cool, oh, that person is so cool. But I never fitted into that space. And that sort of led into, it was by almost even when I started working that I started coming into my own, that you are uniquely you. And if you are not meant to fit into certain spaces, you are not meant to. And there's really no need forcing, because you just become a nuisance and it looks as if you're forcing. And meanwhile, the people you admire, like you said, they're possibly looking at you and saying, I like this person, I like this thing about this person. So why don't you just focus rather than looking at other people and wishing to be in, just be uniquely you. And the people that will gravitate towards you, they will gravitate. And when they do, you know that this person is actually coming to me because they like something about, and not me forcing myself into crowds that I don't fit in, because really you don't belong to everybody. And that's life. You don't belong to everybody, and it's not everybody you like or admire. I often even find that quite a number of people that I've admired in the past, by the time I got close to them, it became a little bit of a disappointment for me. So you also need to be careful that that admiration doesn't turn into appointment as well.
Hmm. Sometimes when you get close, you see that
They're not better
the
than
grass
you.
is always greener.
Very true.
You know, using rose-colored glasses to look. It's
Very
not
true.
exactly the way so you have to be
It's
very careful. I like what you said. Just being your unique self, right, will bring your own tribe to you. And I think it's very,
exactly.
very important in the workplace, right? Because generally, human beings, the fact is, we like to belong. We want that sense of identification. We want that sense of worth sometimes. And many of us, we all have our issues where we're coming from and background. So
Yes.
sometimes the workplace becomes that melting point, and you are almost saying, okay, which side of the pot am I going to? So there's almost that scramble. But the confidence to just be yourself and continue to do good work, right?
Yes.
Have you ever, and this just came to mind to ask,
Mhm.
have you ever seen where negative friendship, or have you experienced it? Maybe not negative friendship, wrong friendships, right, have cost someone, any story you've heard about costing someone a point in their career, or costing something, or even being what, boosts someone's positioning at work. So the impact of friendship in terms of shaping your perception at work or your experience of the workplace. I mean, it just came to mind to ask, and I'm just thinking, is there something there, around how the kind of friendships you keep at work can either boost, or boost,
Yes.
your reputation at work or your experience of the workplace?
Yes. I mean, when I was a junior lawyer, and I even tell some of my teammates now that there's nothing you guys are doing now that I've not done, because I was a naughty junior lawyer. But then I was a naughty junior lawyer, but I wasn't also the most diligent lawyer when I was a junior lawyer. And I had friends who were naughty, but they were very good at work. So you had this band that they were seen as the troublesome ones at work, always looking for ways to stir up trouble. But if you are stirring up trouble, right, but you're very good at what you do, you get that pass mark. But if you're stirring up trouble and then you're now not even churning out quality work, it gets to you. So I often got at some point, these are the troublemakers. These are the troublemakers. And I miss out on certain opportunities because this person he is here just to cause trouble. This person is going to make a mockery of things. So one just needs to be very, very careful. I know that there's that tendency. Yes, you're young, you want to look cool, but ultimately, it never quite pans out very well. And one must always remember that work is work. Yes, we can gist, we're here to have, and the key thing about it is, and it's always painful when you're the cool, okay, you're trying to be cool, and then you're getting passed over for certain work, and then your friends that cool, but they're now going behind and living up to expectations. So you think, oh, me and this person, we badmouth the partners, we've done this one, but this person has come back to give feedback, to give areas of improvement, but yet you are now feeling cool in space. It never quite works out.
Hmm. Hey, man, you see, I tell people that this C-suite speak, I started doing it because I wanted to help people, but I'm the first beneficiary because every guest just brings a different dimension. See
Mm.
the story, see the question I asked and how you've unpacked it. Me and you, we thought we are playing pranks and we are playing, we are being truants. It's not true. The person went and was still saying, no, we can improve on this and improve on that. But when we're all in the meeting together, what are they saying?
Scatter.
But the person will still go in a sidewalk in the corridor,
Yeah.
in the elevator, in on a
Yeah.
car ride to a meeting, and be saying, "Oh, I think on this and I think on that," and you think that you and the person are both, and then you're wondering, you said something. The quality of work we do will determine the opportunities that come our way. That's what I've heard. The quality of work we do will determine the quality of opportunities that come to us. And it is
Definitely.
so important. Hey,
Definitely. And let me just make one small point that just came to my head right now. And it's be careful the battles you fight. And I'll say this because even recently, as far as 5 years or 3, 4 years ago, I was fighting certain battles, so particularly when I was in CFA. CFA is a multinational, we're working with French people. I was part of the ESCO team. So I felt that it was my duty to be fighting for Nigerians. I felt that it was no, 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 French people, no, you cannot do this because I've been exposed. So there were some things that they felt they were gifting Nigerians. I said, no, this is normal. This is not. But looking back now, it wasn't my battle to fight. Don't think that at any point in time, no matter what the management is doing, no matter, it's always pays to do things in wisdom. You can say some things, and once you feel the room, you feel the pulse of the room, you've said it, you drop it. But when you feel that it is your duty to fight employee battles, and because of that, I even got sidelined for certain opportunities just because I labeled myself the Nigerian fighter, the one who likes to fight
hmm,
for employees. Meanwhile, there could have been some battles that I could have won by just being level headed, playing it cool, and then fighting it in softer ways in other avenues. But because I had showed my way, oh, I'm going to fight, I know my rights, I know. So fighting or being too obvious is never always a solution. Being that a Luther, the labor union that must always say the truth, then no, I like to speak my mind. That's where I am. It doesn't always work. And that's why everyone needs a high level of emotional intelligence by the time you are getting to leadership. Even not, let's not even, because you practice these things as you grow. You don't expect to get to
hmm,
emotional intelligence when you get to, if you don't have it as a junior, you will not have, you have to practice it as you grow up the ladder. But everyone needs a high level of emotional intelligence, when to speak, when to talk, when to be quiet, and not even do anything and just wait for opportunity. So that's also very key. Well,
hmm. Okay, I was going to go a different path, but you have brought a different matter up, and I cannot leave it alone. So I'm going to stay there before I go where I wanted to go. You've mentioned this matter of emotional intelligence, and you said something very important. You said we are not going to wait until we become a leader before we start having the conversation about emotional intelligence. We need to
definitely.
start early, early.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about this? First, let's start with reading the room. What
Yes.
does that even mean? Because sometimes I feel like some people get it, some people don't just get it. And I feel like sometimes it's just you wake up into that maturity when you're like, oh, oh, this is what I should have done that day. You now start replaying all the times you didn't read the room and you didn't get what was going on and know. There are times when I remember my partner comes into the open office and having a conversation, maybe a manager or something is going back and forth, and I literally have to like chat the person, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, or even dial their phone like so that they can see the message like leave it, leave it, leave it. Can you just share with us some things to help us know when should we leave something? Just give us an idea of, okay, for example, this, just some practical things, that may come to mind to help someone who is in their first 3 to 5 years at work, right? Somebody who is in their next 10 years to just say, okay, in that situation, leave it for now, go for later. Let's just talk about that.
Thank you. Very, very good question. I think the first thing that comes with it. And it's not even just even about work. It's also even about when you're married, when you're in a relation, or even with your friends. So it applies, it's across board, both your professional journey and even your in your private lives. You shouldn't always think that you want to win an argument. When you start with, I want to win an argument, I must make my point, you've lost it. And I think that's an easy trap we all fall into, particularly lawyers, that we like to argue, we like to know, I know my point, I know it, I know it. So when you start off with the basis from that premise that I must make my point or I must win this argument, I am right, and I must show that I am right, you've missed the point. You've lost the plot at that. You're not able to see. When you're talking to somebody and you immediately see that that person is defensive, even if that person is your spouse, your boss, your friend, and you immediately see there's no need continuing that argument, because the person is not listening to understand. The person is only listening to react. And particularly when you're in a work environment, you're saying something, in your mind that you're right, and it has happened to me before. But because I'm having that conversation with my boss, and I can already see that my boss is irritated,
Hmm.
and then when I was in, let me use the example of when I was a junior lawyer with one of my bosses. Then we'll start hissing that. What's that? That's your cue to don't say anything, because I am not going to listen to you. And I found that even with conversations I've had, the best outcomes I got was when I'll just say, okay, well noted. And even amongst our leadership team today, when we're in board meetings, we know when your director gives you feedback during a meeting, when to say, well noted, thank you for not agree. Was well noted. Thank you for the feedback. And you write it. There'll be other opportunities to bring it up. There'll be other times that I've even had conversations with my MD that I absolutely disagreed with. I said, okay, well noted, aligned. Once I say well noted, aligned, she will know in a way that I'm just aligning with her. Not that I understand or I agree, I'm aligning. And a number of times she's come back to say, oh, I changed my mind. I changed my mind, think, but you need to once you made up your mind that you don't always have to be right in every argument, and you don't always have to make a point. I think that's a good starting point.
To be honest, I will not lie. When I asked that question, it's not like I was sure there would be a clear answer. So the question just came to me, and I was like, Neka, you want to now ask a rounding question? What kind of question is this? But honestly, the first statement hits it for me. And you
Mm,
said something, not just about our professional lives, it's also about our personal lives, right?
yes,
And that has helped me. I won't lie to you personally. It's just clarified for me that when I am talking, when I am speaking, is my point to win and to show that I am right? Or is my point to be understood?
yes.
Kai, okay.
And
Ladies
it
and
happens
gentlemen,
a
are you
lot,
learning?
even in marriage. Even when I start
Yes.
arguing with my, oh, I know that there's nothing I will say that is RMB wants to be right. So okay, okay, and you never quite get the desired answer.
That's so powerful. So if you're listening here, I don't know if this thing is hitting you the way it's hitting me, but in my head, I'm just like, yes. Like I always ask yourself, are you trying to be the one that is right at the end of the day? Or do you just want to be understood? Because
Yes,
sometimes we get lost in trying to, and maybe sometimes I feel like for some of us who grew up with parents who didn't allow you to speak, who didn't allow
yes,
you to share your words, I think we may be a bit more threatened by that, right? So you always want to. Or the flip side, you grew up with parents who allowed you to always speak, therefore you think that everybody should listen to you.
everybody should talk. I have a
So there are
voice.
two sides to it. So it's either
Yes,
you are at the end where you did everything, you say, shut up, go away. What are you saying? What do you know? Or they always said, okay, talk. And then you suddenly think that when you get to the office too, you should also always talk.
you can
You don't
always
know
talk.
when to, hey, if we start this matter, if we go this, there's a lot to unpack in this thing, right? Because sometimes there's even gender influence in this conversation
Yes,
where we are subconsciously fighting a gender thing. It's not even what the person is saying. There's a gender nuance to what is going on, but we are just, closed in trying to make sure that we make our point. Maybe as a
Yes.
woman, you feel like, and they don't want to hear, they don't want to hear. Or as a guy, you feel like this woman doesn't listen to what, and so you're just going on
Doesn't.
and on, narrow-minded. My
Yes.
goodness.
And I
There's so
gave this feedback recently to my team member that sort of lost her cool during meetings. And I said, it even shows that you're not ready for the next level. Like
hmm,
when you have outbursts or when you're talking back and you're talking and you're talking, it shows that you don't have a high level of emotional intelligence. It shows that they can't put you in certain rooms. It shows that you're not ready. So that's a skill one must learn, one must acquire as one moves up the ladder.
hey. So people, happy employees, are you hearing? How you react if you're so if in your mind you're already thinking, no, I have to be right, I have to prove that I know what I'm saying every single time, what you are indirectly communicating is that you're not ready for the next level. Hey, this one is a different one.
And sorry, I just wanted to say because
Please
everybody
go
feels
ahead.
that, everybody feels we that we're advising. I think let me make it clear. We're all in this journey of learning. So I can speak about it. It doesn't mean that I get it right all the time. There are mistakes I still make along this journey. So
Mhm,
even
mhm.
I am also learning and relearning and even unlearning some certain things. There have been times I'll talk to my boss, she will think that I'm possibly my tone is a bit high. And I think back, I'm like, was my tone really high? So even I'm also talking to myself too, because I'm also on the journey of learning as well. I just have to mention it so
Yes,
that people
nobody
don't
thinks,
feel, oh my
oh,
God,
you have gotten it.
I've lost, I've
Hmm.
gotten it. No, everyone
This
is learning.
this this is so good. This is so good. This is so good. And we can stay here, but let me not stay here. Let me shift direction a little bit because you talked about something, right? Let me shift direction because if I stay here, we will be here, and that's where we'll end the life. We'll just talk about because there's a lot to unpack when it comes to emotional intelligence in the workplace, especially because it's just becoming something of a kind of a thing for us, especially here in Nigeria, West Africa. It's not a
Mm.
thing that even the world generally, right? But I mean, generally, as with everything, we are usually like a bit be lagging to
Oh,
catch
yes.
up with those things, so it's really just coming up where we're all asking ourselves, how do you speak to people? Are you sure about what you're saying? What are you communicating? Before I leave this topic, talk to us about emotional intelligence and our subordinates, right? Just in terms of you wearing the shoe of being a subordinate, right? So that nobody thinks, oh, talk about your own experience as a subordinate and what you would have wanted, right? And what you saw. So you're just sharing from your own experience. What does that
Okay,
look
as a
like for you?
subordinate or as a team leader? Which one
As a
now?
subordinate? So as a
Okay.
subordinate, right? So we've talked about you being there and engaging with your leader in terms of how you pace yourself, how you react, how you but now
Yes.
in terms of what you want to receive, right, from your own leader, right? What does that look like?
Now, in terms of what I want to receive from my own leader, these days I don't have expectations, and I will tell you why. When I was in Bawan Igudalo, I had a team leader that she used to make me cry all the time. And I went running to a partner that this person is making me cry. She's always mean, she's always harsh, she's always this. And I went to report her to a partner, hoping that I'll get the partner to sort of step in. And the partner
Mhm.
told me, deal with it. And I was shocked. The partner said, Andy, you need to deal with it because if you meet, okay, if I wade in and then you meet another person that is even worse, then what do you do? And I say that today, that everyone wants the best scenario. You want a leader that is supportive, that will talk to you gently, that will talk to you, but you won't always get it. And you must always learn to work with whichever leader you find yourself with. And I always tell people this. So yes, I can say yes, I want my leader to be supportive. I want them to support me. I want them to understand me. But these are also human beings too, with pressures, because I always say every leader has their own leader. And everybody gets their booze, the next person. So it's good to say you want this from, but my own my own advice to everyone is whoever you meet in life, learn to extract the best out of that person. Because if you say, oh, this person is a wicked person, you'll never know. And this person, I felt, she used to make me cry. When I got that awakening, I had to deal with it, and I started looking at her positive sides. And I started looking at the fact that this person is really teaching me. This person is difficult on me because this person, she's tough for me because she wants me to learn. And I started just ignoring her negative sides and focusing more on her positive side. And I say this because there's nobody that will meet that like her today. I'll say, oh, I've met somebody like you in life. I've dealt with somebody like you in life. And it will always happen. So if you always think that you always find this supportive person and you want this leader to be, no, you make the best out of whichever team leader that you are giving. That's not to say that yes, there are some from, and now with all this talk about emotionally, my mental health is failing, my mental. Honestly, I don't. I don't really subscribe to that. That may be a very unpopular statement, but I don't, because I just believe that there's no situation, there's no person that's ideal. And you just have to make the best situation in every circumstance and trust that this circumstance that God has put you in is trying to develop something, is trying to teach you something. And unless you learn it, you're not ready for that next place that you want to go to, or for that next level.
So we've got to trust that the circumstance will teach us, and then we have to be intentional to extract the best. So is that there's actually a place of choosing here, like, okay, what's the best I can make of this situation, and be intentional to get that. Thank you. Our time is running away. As I don't know where it is running to. Time.
I know.
So there's something you said at the beginning in your introduction, right? And if you notice, I've been typing, so I always take notes when my guests are speaking because I'm learning a lot,
Okay.
right? And you are really hitting it because now we are literally at one page now of talking and me as well. So let's go back to that beginning part. You said something, and let me look for it. You said we will always get to the. You can say we always get to the point where. Sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, fine. So you said something, right? And I wrote it down like this, that we will always get to the point when we are angry and we just like, I want out.
Oh, yes.
But that it was until you were got to that point where you were like relaxed, that our opportunity finally came. And when you said that, I was like, oh, this is a universal thing, Abby. Where you, because in my career I happen to make, I just call my mentor, hey, no, 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 I'm done, hey, no, 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 hey, and you'll be like, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down first. Talk to us about this, right? If you can remember one or two examples of what were those triggers and how you got through them. I'm saying this
Oh,
again because I want people to listen and say, oh, this, so young lawyers who may be here, younger career people will be like, okay, so she too, because some people may have experienced that thing today or this
oh,
week,
yes.
or it's happen to
Certainly.
them next week, right? And they're able to say, okay, so it's not only me. This is how she navigated those times, right? So talk to us about one or two of those.
Talk about maybe my first experience was when I was in Bawani Gudalu. I'd gone through some appraisal session, and one partner spoke to me horribly. And I was like, I've given my time, I've given my life, I don't sleep, I'm doing everything that I can, and this is what I get. No, 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 no. And I went upstairs and I wrote my resignation letter and I said, I'm done. And then I wrote it. And then I showed one of my bosses. And my boss said to me then that you don't resign because of anything.
Hmm.
Don't let anybody push you to rest, no matter how angry, no matter how upset, because you've given that person the satisfaction and you've given that person power over your life. When you react, when you do something in reaction to what somebody, and no, you leave when you are good and ready. And that was my first aha moment, that and I thought that resignation. No, 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 I didn't say it immediately. I kept it for a few days now. Let me see after 5 days, let me see how I feel. Whether I still want to resign. But I kept it in my pedestal, and by the time I calmed down and just got over the decision. I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave when I'm good and ready. I'm not going to leave because of this person. And that person today is even my mentor. So I maybe might resign. The person will be my mentor today anyway. So who knows about all this? So the second time was even when I was in my multinational. There are things that they will do that I will just get upset, and I felt it was clashing with my personal values. It was clashing, and I found I used to be so upset going to work, so upset at work. I'll look at my boss, I'll be upset, and I just wanted to leave. And I was like, any interview, any something, I'm applying, I'm checking, I must leave this place, I must leave this. And the offers I was getting, they were not, I can't just, okay, you can't leave because you're angry, because this offer, this place you're going to, you don't even know what the culture is, where you're going. So why not just even address yourself? And one thing must always realize, we can never control other people. We can never control the next person, but you can always, what you can have control over is yourself and how you react to any situation. So in the last place, I had to really focus on addressing all the issues, all my misgivings about the company, about how people were being treated. This is around me, this is not your fight. This is really not. So I had to come to a place of acceptance and peace. And it was when I came to that place of acceptance and peace and the offer came. And I even found that the people I was even angry with, I know, I was happy to say I'm leaving cultural issues. I'm leaving because of money. But it, if I'd left in reaction, I'd have made a wrong decision.
Hmm.
And maybe that's take away from here. Reacting to things like that helps you, or rather, you are more likely to make a wrong decision when you are living in reaction to something. But when you're at a place of peace, you've come to a place of acceptance, you dealt with all your personal reactions to it, and you're able to control your emotions, emotional intelligence. Then you're able to make better decisions and not living due to how you're feeling. Because one thing you should not trust is your feelings. Human feelings, our feelings, you can't trust your feelings, because your feelings can change tomorrow. You can change when you appreciate the whole. So you should never rely on feelings in taking decisions.
Hmm. This is really interesting, right? Because sometimes because of how you are seeing things, or because of how you're agitated, you are seeing things in a particular way, and you are
Yes,
interpreting them in a particular way. But when you
yes,
are calmer, it's
yes.
almost like what we said earlier, the rose-colored glass. When you now clear up, you're now able to see,
Oh,
okay, maybe I'm
yes,
interpreting wrongly, maybe, and so it's almost interesting how it's when you get to that place of peace that opportunities come up, right?
yes,
And then you're not like, okay, I can now explore this, I can then take the right lead. This is the time for me to
yes,
do this, right? So this is really, really powerful in terms of knowing this, that there will come times. I remember one time I called on senior leader, mentor that in the industry, and I was like, "Oh, I'm done." This, and she said to me, "Okay, what was making you say this that you want to leave?" I said, "The stress is X X X." She said, "Ah, no." I said stress, and I said, "Oh, this particular part of the work that just." She just said, "Ah, if it's that part of the work, there's nowhere you will go that you will not have part of the work that you don't like. Oh, you just know that if you leave that part of the work, another place you will go to, there's another part of the work that is waiting for you there that you will not like. That nobody works in a place where they like all parts of the work. It doesn't exist. So if you're running away from this one, prepare your mind
yeah.
that in front
There's
is
something else.
another something else,
Yeah.
And I think it's important for young people to understand that, right? That see, there's no perfect, it's almost like the eighty
There's no
twenty
perfect
principle.
solution.
There's no
Yeah.
perfect workplace. You just have to say,
Um,
okay, which are the non compromisables? I can't compromise on these ones, and which ones can I, compromise on, right? And so, can you talk to us about this question of what are things that are critical for you in terms of, or you would recommend looking back now, right, as signs of a good place to work? Let's talk about that. What are some things that you would see, or a younger you, Aramide comes to you now,
yes.
what would you advise her to look out for? as things she can tick and say, yes, these are signs of a good place to work?
Oh, fantastic. A clear sign for me of a good place to work is when your bosses give you opportunities to shine. When it's not oh, I'm a senior, I talk, you're a junior, you keep quiet and carry my bag. If you are with bosses that expose you, that give you room to grow, that expose you, you go for meetings, they'll say, no, you talk, or you do this work. After you feel, oh, they're giving me all the no. It's room to grow, it's room to shine. And I think that's a very good opportunity. One of the defining moments when I was in law firm was we had a pitch to the Nigerian Stock Exchange then, and I was the most junior person on the team. And there were different firms that had gone to present. But my boss said, Amde, you're presenting. And I almost died. I said, hey, me, the ESCO of NGX. Honestly, I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And the best part of it was that we won the brief, and part of the feedback was that we won the brief because the most junior person presented, and they saw capacity in that junior person. So that made them realize that if we don't see the partner and the junior person is sending us email and advising, we are assured that the junior person is doing the right thing. And that was why we won that brief. So if you're in a place that exposes you, if you're in a place that they give you work, you honestly, you should appreciate it. I say as a junior, you should appreciate long hours. You should appreciate hard work. Don't despise the days of not just humble beginnings, tough beginnings. Tough
Hmm.
beginnings when they give you work, when they are hard on you, because it all pays off at the end. And I always say this, and I say this a lot because Bawan Godalo really trained me, and I owe a lot of who I am today to the partners. I give a classic example of why I think it's the culture there is absolutely amazing. I've done a piece of work for my boss. The client sent it to us. It was labeled wrongly. It was a board meeting. It was a notice of board meeting. No, sorry, it was a notice of annual general meeting, but the title did notice of board meeting. So I reviewed it. I reviewed it very well. I sent it to my boss. My boss looked at it. Oh, very good AGM notice. And the good comments. And he was about to save it. And he saw notice of board meeting. He said, why did you save AGM notice, notice of board meeting? And he threw a tantrum. And then I was thinking, why is this guy? Why he's so fussy? He's so this. But in hindsight, the little things matter as much as the big things. So when you see people fussing over things like that, it's to train you for the future. Today, people think, why am I fussing over for funds in letters? That's because I was trained that the little things matter as much as the big things. So when you're in a place where they're training you, they're trying to instill all these things. Don't look at it from a place of, my God, these people, they're so tough, they're so hard. My mental health is failing. They're talking to me anyhow. Embrace it. And even diamonds go under fire to come out looking expensive and shiny and pricey. So why not? Why not you? So for me, it's any place that is ready to train, that is ready to give you work, that is ready to expose you, celebrate you. Please embrace it because you'll be better off for it.
You said embrace the days of not just humble, but tough beginnings. Embrace long hours. Hey, happy employees, are you hearing this one? Eh, embrace long hours in your early days. Oh, you are the one becoming. This thing,
Yes.
what you said is, it reminded me of where I am currently, right? The role I am doing. And I was saying to someone that this is my area of genius,
Mm.
right? Like it's something I like to do. I can do it in my sleep. And I'm talking about something here, dropping something here, and they're like, "Oh wow, wow!" And I'm like, "Yeah, wow, really?" Like,
It's nothing to you.
this is, do you understand? And I realized the long hours of studying and studying, and seeing this thing. It takes time, but it pays off eventually.
It
It
does.
pays off eventually. That is so powerful. Hmm.
It does. It does.
It pays off. I mean,
I can't count the number of times where I've said something now and I send messages to my old bosses saying, I just said something and I sounded like you. Thank you. And I don't, and I never forget to thank them. because I think that
Mm.
they were difficult. Some moments I hated them, and I won't lie because yes, you'll go through moments where you hate. And I tell my team members, don't worry, you hate me at times, it's okay. Hate me, but you like me later, and all of that. So never despise those difficult times.
So if you guys here, you will hate your boss sometimes. It's normal. It's not only
Normal.
you. There are times when if I squeeze man home,
And it's
so it's
perfectly
normal.
fine. It's normal. It's fine.
It's part of it. I don't even know which one to ask now, which one to leave. Because you see, we've not even talked about balancing wifehood, motherhood, and all of this. We didn't even go there at all. Ah, I don't even know. Because even in what you've shared so far, there are still things I want to ask. So I don't know,
Mm,
and I'm liking that trajectory. So I don't know whether I should leave this one of motherhood and code till later, another
anyone.
session when we bring you back, right?
Anyone.
Because you see, when you talked about that speed to say something happened and you give yourself 5 days. So it's really okay to get to a point where you are upset about something and you give yourself time.
Yes. Yes,
Can you talk to
certainly.
us about that in the context of either engaging with clients or even with team members, or even with your leaders? That principle of allowing time before you take action
Oh, yes.
in different scenarios. Please, can you talk to us about that?
Thank you. And I think something, this just even happened to me recently. Yesterday, a team member did something that really upset me. And I'd already said type in an email. I already said type in. I was typing, I was giving the person strong feedback, and something just said, RMA, stop. Just pack it, leave it. The world will not end if you don't respond in that minute. And I didn't. I closed it off, completely forgot about it. And then I had a conversation today. But the difference in the conversation I had, it worlds apart because yesterday, if I had communicated how I felt to that team member, the team member would have read it and won't have appreciated the message I was trying to pass, the lesson I was trying to pass. That was
Mm,
really on that team member instantly because the person would have read, why is Arambe talking to me like this? Why is Arambe doing this? Why is Arambe acting like that? But because today I was calmer, I realized, okay, a mistake was made. Life is not over. The world continues. Nothing. Ultimately, nothing is that deep. There's some things that are deep, but ultimately, nothing is that deep. But having that conversation today just made the team member appreciate what I was able to pass on the message because I was devoid of how I was feeling and all of that, and it came out clearer. And I'll give another example.
yes.
I received an appraisal from my boss, and there was a comment there, and I was so upset. And I was supposed to go into an appraisal meeting, and I knew that if I walked into that appraisal meeting, I would have been speaking, and I would have been very emotional. And what did I do? I sent an email. I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't do this meeting now. Is there any way we can postpone this meeting?" And fortunately, my boss allowed us to postpone it. And what that happened to me was I had time to devoid myself, to purge myself of how I was feeling, how I was angry with her comments and all. I could take my time from an objective position to note down comments. And when I eventually had that, I could talk from a place where I was emotion free and I could talk based
Mm,
on facts. Because when you start communicating with somebody and they can hear emotions, and you think you're communicating, no, you're sounding like an emotional wreck. And I find
mm,
that always very helpful. So when you want to react, better not to type, walk, go away from your phone, your husband. I have a friend that when she's angry, she speaks tongues rather than communicating. Just speak in tongues and she'll be walking away. So do whatever works for you, but as much as possible, don't react to, because once you react, it's that person is not the person is not even the person will take your message, and you've also lost. You've lost out on what you're intending to impart. So it never works quite well for anybody. But like I
mm.
said, everyone is still learning. Do I still make my mistakes? Certainly, I do. If I had to caution myself yesterday, it means that I would have probably reacted in another way
Mm.
sometime time passed.
Hmm. So what another thing I've heard amongst everything you said is find what helps you to calm down.
Yes.
Find your own, because your friend says she just goes to go and speak in tongues. Sometimes
Yes.
I just start typing. Like I type like I'm talking to somebody. Oh God, can you see what this? Can you see this, that? Can you imagine this? Like I'm really writing a letter to God and say, can you
Yes.
imagine this? What does that mean? How can they that? And I realized that that's just gets all the emotions out onto the paper,
Out.
onto the laptop,
Yes.
and then we have
Yes.
a clear head, And you said you may think that you are in control, but you sound like an emotional wreck. Because usually when you are talking at that time,
Yes.
it shows when you are together and when you are not together. It usually shows. Unfortunately, when you are not together is when you most likely feel like you are together. So
Yes.
even if you are getting the look that is saying, you're almost like, I can carry on, I can carry on. So you need to
Carry
grow
on.
that self awareness
Yeah.
as well.
And if you're in the workplace and you get known for this person can't handle like emotions, that's not a very good thing. That is never a very good thing because you find that you're technical and there was somebody like that in my younger life. A very very hot. This guy was hot, as in he knew the book. He was operating at almost partner level, but because of lack of emotional intelligence, that was why he didn't get promoted. That was why he didn't make it. So that kept on being a bar to his climbing onto the next level because he lacked emotional intelligence. He would just talk on the basis of I must give feedback, I must do this, I must react. So it's not all always about yes, I know the work, I do good work. That also is a soft skill, but it's a soft but very important skill.
Hmm. In fact, I remember a research as you were speaking that said that emotional intelligence counts for almost 3 to 5 times in extra earning in pay. Like people who
Wow.
are able to do it and master it well are able to earn more than 3 times. It positions them to earn more than those who just go about. And what you shared just further confirms that in real terms.
Very
Okay,
true.
if you leave me, we're going to be here for the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So clearly, it looks like we're going to have a part two, right?
Okay.
I'll give you time and we'll come back again because we've not even talked about the heart of being mom, wife,
Mm,
and all of that. We've not talked
very,
about finances, which is something
very,
that's an area that I also want happy employees to learn. So we've not talked
mm,
about those 2 areas. So we're going to have to come back and talk about those, right?
no
So
problem.
so thank you. So if you were to wrap this up, what are the top 2 or 3 things you would want anyone who is listening, right, to be able to take away from your own story, right? So it's not just from what you've shared so far, right? Something that it could be something that you should have not done or you should do, whatever it is that comes to mind. Very, just that speed mentoring part. Yes.
Okay. Quickly, always go the extra mile. Always go
Mm,
the extra mile in everything. Don't think that oh, this is not my work. This is not for me. They didn't call my mouth into this. This is not within my spare. I mean, at the beginning, I said today I'm a lawyer. I'm the company secretary, but I'm currently heading the marketing team until we find a new head of marketing. And why is that? Because I'd spoken up our brand. I'd spoken up and clearly, my MD has seen, Aramide, she's a lawyer, but she's passionate about brands. Aramide, she's a lawyer, but she's always questioning this. She's always asking this question. And that has sort of opened me up to that role. So always go the extra mile, always ask questions. And I think the last but not the least, my second main point is don't be afraid. Earlier on in my career, I used to be scared of opening my mouth. What if I go and say the wrong thing? What if I shall? What if I this? What if I that? But one thing I realized that the people standing on stage talking, they are even more scared than you. They are equally as scared, but they're doing it. They are out there. They are talking. They are doing it. They're presenting papers. They're asking questions. And to you, your question may sound stupid or but the person that is listening, like, oh, this person has made a valid point. So don't let fear take over your life. I think those are my two main points. Always go the extra mile. Always go the extra mile. Don't shy away from work. Don't say this is not my field. This is not wherever you have your interest, wherever you have your passion. Let it shine. Let it come out. Be probe, ask questions, and then never let fear hold you back from where you're supposed to go because the people doing it, they're scared, but they are doing it afraid. I like that word, do it afraid. Do it afraid.
Mm,
Do it with your legs shaking. Do it with all the butterflies, feeling like you want to throw up, but guess what? Do it.
mm, mm. This is so good. This is so good. That part of doing it afraid. When I tell people that sometimes when I go to speak, I still get the jitters. They're like, you? I'm like, yes.
And even me, I'm saying you.
I promise you, sis. As in, my husband will tell you sometimes I'm having mini diarrhea before a speaking engagement. I'm telling you, he's like, again. I'm like,
See, Neka, you just be papa, everybody will be looking, wow. Like me, so when I look at you,
I'm
I'm like,
literally telling you, like mini diarrhea, and he's like, again. I'm like, ah, sweet Bele. He's like, ah, Bele, Bele. I'm telling you, as in physical reaction, this is not just enough, just jitters in the tummy alone. My whole system, I can't eat.
wow,
And when I say people are like, are you? I'm like, yes, me. But I
wow.
will still put on that camera. I will still enter the car and get to that place and climb that stage and
Can you
talk. But you will not
imagine?
believe that I
Wow,
just had literal physical reaction. This one is not a butterfly in the tummy and tension. Like I am going to the bathroom because I'm going
wow.
to speak somewhere. And I mean,
I
I
guess
usually am very careful about what I say yes to. I like to say yes to my area of expertise. So it's not even a
mm,
case of I don't know. I'm still, in spite of that, I'm gonna be like, ah, sorry, oh, sorry, oh, that kind of. Sometimes you have like, if I say to, what's I go do now? That's it. So I share that so people can understand that you do
of
it
course.
afraid, and what you're saying is true, right? You just do it and you do it. Sometimes I was doing something recently. Was it not today? I was trying to draft something, and I was like, this thing I'm saying, does it make sense? Does it make sense? And the person I was talking to was nodding and taking notes, and I was like, but he's nodding and taking notes. Why are you telling yourself does it make sense? He's
Imposter syndrome. Yes.
what else do you want? So
Mm,
it's really very true that speak up, practice speaking up, especially at work, but also
yes.
moderate it, not with the aim to be right all the
Of
time.
course. Of
Read the
course.
room and know when to be. Oh wow.
Of
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've
Thank
already taken a
you.
lot of your time this
Had an
evening,
amazing
and
time.
I am so grateful. I'm happy you had a good time. Very happy you had a good time. Thank you. I'm going to call on you again. No,
Of
I'm going to
course.
call on you again. Mhm.
Anytime, anything for
We're
you,
going to
you
call
know.
on you again. We're calling on you again, honestly, because there's just so much to unpack on the journey. And for me, like I said, this is something about us amplifying our own stories. I feel like our own work DNA as Africans in general, but even in West Africa is different, right?
Oh,
And the
definitely.
stories we hear from the West will not really do us good. They are
All of
good,
them.
they are valid, but we need to have our own people telling our own stories,
From
of
our
the
own African
grits, that
context.
went through.
Yeah.
Yes, within the
Even,
context of what we have to
the
do.
Nigerian context is even different from the African context because Nigerians are peculiar. So we in
We are
Nigeria,
very interesting.
we have
So I feel like we need more story. In fact, I was telling someone that even within the various functions, we need models that suit our reality. So how we go and we take the HR model, for example, from the US, we need our own Nigerian HR
oh,
model.
definitely.
How we
Yes.
take because those things are unique to us. And it's in
Yes.
telling these kinds of stories that we can get a chance to do that. So
Oh,
thank you so much for spending
thank
this time with us.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much. And we'll
you.
call
Thank
on
you,
you again.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
Thank you, everyone, for staying through on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Please repost so that other people can learn. We are building more happy and wealthy employees in Nigerian workplaces and in West Africa as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of the week. Bye bye. God
Thank
bless.
you. Bye. Thank you.